I just want to welcome each of you. I have, let's see, Terrence, you want to introduce yourself next, and then we'll.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, everybody. My name is Terrence Grantham, for those who don't know. I am the fatherhood coordinator with our Detroit Healthy Start program inside of our Institute for Population Health clinics and program throughout the city. I've been doing this for 6 years now. I got a wife, 3 kids. So my fatherhood expertise goes beyond the books. So yeah. You know, these are our community partners. We did this back in September, last fall.
September, yeah.
Yeah, and it went well. So just had to double back to get some more information from our community members to make sure that we're doing our job to best serve you all.
Yes, thank you, Terrence. Okay, I have some co-workers. Ellen, you want to say who you are?
Sure. Good evening, everybody. I am Ellen Satterley. I am program assistant, and I'm here to help Andrell with our presentation today.
All right. Dr. Boggs?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Kyra Boggs. I am the Director for Detroit Health Innovations and also the Director for Center for Health Equity Practice here at Michigan Public Health Institute. Thank you so much for your time this evening. We're looking forward to your feedback.
Yes. So I want to say again, welcome to everyone. I did say my name is Andrell Swift. I'm the outreach specialist and I work for the Michigan Public Health Institute. And we are here this evening to get your feedback regarding maternal and infant vitality and strength in your community. And strength means, vitality means to be active and strong. So we want feedback from you as to what makes your community strong. And as Terrence said, we did this back in September, and we just got excellent feedback. The participation was excellent. And so the way this is going to go, I'm going to ask some questions, and I would like you to state your name before you speak, so we can make sure we're getting everyone. We want everyone to answer questions. And so make sure you state your name as you answer questions. Okay, that's basically it. All right. So
I just want to chime in that first name only is fine.
First name only, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here's our agenda. I said my name, Terrence. Okay, and again, the purpose of this meeting is to hear from you in terms of what makes your community strong when it comes to maternal and infant vitality in your community. So the first question is, what makes a family strong? Okay, what makes a family strong? And please make sure you put your name and email in the chat as well. We want to make sure we have a record of who attended.
So I would say, this is Frances Arnold. I would say what makes a family strong is love, communication, understanding, empathy. That's the main point.
Okay, thank you, Frances. Next, someone else? What makes a family strong? Okay, we're not shy, are we?
Or if you do have children, but you want to answer, feel free to put an answer in the chat. I understand. I got mine in the background as well. But while I'm here, it just came to me kind of that a consensus of morals and values is sharing and practicing the same family values, societal values, and operating under those morals.
Thank you, Terrence.
And definitely we encourage you to come off mute with your babies in the background. That's one of the things that, because we are capturing voice information, you don't necessarily have to be on camera. But when we get some responses, we can move on to the next question and kind of filter this on through, so you can get back to your family. So feel free, it doesn't make a difference, as long as you're able to capture the information, and that's all that really matters.
This is Charles. I would say the ability to provide, having resources that helps make a family strong.
Mhm. Thank you, Charles. Anyone else? I know those thinking caps are on, right? What makes a family strong? Or what are you doing that helps your family to be strong?
You said, what are we doing to help our family be strong?
Yeah, I mean, like you had mentioned, sort of principles. So there's certain principles that you're following that helps your family. So you're doing that. You're following certain principles. So anyone else?
So this is Francis again. Do you want us to like answer more if we've already answered? Because I can say more of what I do personally.
Okay, Francis, you can say some more.
And I have the kids in the background for whoever was asking for that little.
Well, that's okay. That's okay.
But patience. I'm gonna emphasize patience real bad right now. Hard work, being driven, and goals, life, everything that you do with your family and your in the forefront of your mind, so that'll carry you through each day. Yes, I'm gonna wrap it up like that.
Thank you, Francis. Okay, Ashley, thank you, Ashley. Morals and values, a solid foundation. Thank you. Anyone else before we move on? Working as a team, okay, thank you. Excellent. Good answers. I mean, there's no right or wrong, but thank you, those are good. Anyone else? Ariel, we didn't hear from you. Quinetta?
I said working as a team.
Okay. Preston, do you have anything you want to add? Or Alexis? Your background is loud. Oh, okay. Well, you can write in the chat. That'd be good. We'll have that as well. Okay, let's go to the next question. So, what are some strengths in your community? We talked about what makes a family strong. What are some strengths? Like, Are there any community organizations or some groups or parent groups that you are a part of? Resources. What are some resources or organizations you belong to that help provide strength in your community?
I'll answer this question. I am a part of doula organizations that work to support birth equality and equity, specifically for Black women in the Detroit area. So I think that the amount of resources and events that we are able to host helps bring awareness and teach women to advocate for their birth desires and to have minimal interventions when delivering their babies.
Excellent. Thank you, Alexis. And thank you too, Preston, for that comment in the chat. Anyone else? Those are good. Thank you. Local churches, neighborhoods, doulas, excellent.
Oh man, I got one for this. And I'm speaking super specifically local, but the activities for the kids, for the children,
Mhm.
sports clubs, extracurricular, even if it's just one-off type of events, those kind of things definitely help.
Thank you, Terrence. Activities for children. Very good. Anything else? Support, the support that you receive that helps provide strength in your community. What type of other support or resources or? MACC, a live program. Could you tell me what the MACC stands for?
I think they call it the Mac Alive program.
And what is that?
It's a program like your kids can go to it, you can go to it. If you need extra help with your bills or whatever, they'll help you with that to deduct your bills as far as like DTE. They have washer machines and dryers and stuff in there as well at a cheaper price other than like going to a laundromat. I know they do food giveaways. They host parties with free food and everything for the community, sports events.
Oh, thank you, Ariel. Excellent. Mac Alive. I never heard of that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very, very informative. Okay, anyone else? Very good. So we're answering the question, what are some strengths in your community? Organization, resources, community agencies. Or maybe you belong to a neighborhood club. Forgotten Harvest, Gleaners. Okay. Thank you, Charles. Very good. You all are doing good.
No, I kind of say this reluctantly, but I'm gonna go ahead and mention that Ring app because although those notifications can kind of get overwhelming sometimes, every now and then it's kind of like good heads up for somebody that's, we had a porch pirate a couple years ago who was tearing up our neighborhood. But every now and then, you know, traffic announcements, weather, all those little stuff that you don't think you need it until you go in that direction. It's like, oh, well, I saw that on the Ring app already, so it worked out.
Okay, good. Thanks, Terrence. And Corey, thank you. Local churches allow us to bring our kids and have classes for toddlers. Excellent, while you attend service. Very good. Thank you. You all are doing good. Keep it up. Okay, let's go to the next question. So what are ways that mothers are supported in your community? Like, and who is doing the supporting? What programs have been particularly supportive? So what ways are your mothers supported in your community? Who is doing the supporting? What kind of programs? For moms.
I can answer this one again. It's still birth related. But Black Mothers Breastfeeding Association is supporting moms on their breastfeeding journeys
Okay,
in the Detroit area, as well as Birth Detroit, which actually just broke ground not too long ago to become the first freestanding birth center in the city of Detroit.
excellent. Thank you, Alexis. That is very good. Good news. Anyone else? That was excellent. Thank you. And we are recording. I didn't mention we are recording this session. So we appreciate your answers. Anything else? What are ways that moms are supported? So Alexis mentioned BIMFA and Birth Detroit. Anything else? Wick, all right, thank you, Ariel. I want to mess up your name. Am I saying that right?
It's okay. It's Ariel.
Ariel. Okay, no, it's not okay. Ariel. All right. Good, thank you. Anyone else?
I guess I gotta say Healthy Start, right? MIHP.
Yeah, healthy start, definitely. Thank you, Terrence.
MIHP is Maternal Infant Health Program for those who may not know.
Yeah, very good, very good. Okay, we're
I don't know if anyone has mentioned this one already, but I do like the mom and infant groups like on social media.
okay.
So I tend to like to join those kind of pages. I don't use them as like a primary resource, but just to kind of read other people's stories and get other people's perspectives to basically just feel like, you know, the things that I'm potentially going through, I'm not doing it by myself.
Okay, thank you, Francis. So online social media groups for moms. Anyone else? What groups would you say have been particularly supportive? Of these that we mentioned, okay, we talked about MIH, online support, social media, WIC. Which ones would you say have been the most supportive?
Bridge card.
Bridge card, okay. Anyone
to
else
the
have an
being so
opinion? Who said that? The bridge card?
Ariel, due to
Ariel,
the
okay.
food being so high now.
Okay. Bridge card, okay. And Ariel, why would you say the bridge card? I don't know, so I just need you to educate me.
I'll say the bridge card because lately the prices of food it just keep going up more and more.
Mhm.
So it is like an extra help along with what you already have when you go to the grocery store.
Okay, all right. Thank you. I appreciate that. Anyone else want to add? What is the most supportive? Or who is the most supportive group?
Did anybody mention just their close friends and family? Does that
No,
count as community?
I think
Right,
so,
yeah, a
for
little bit.
sure. Would you say that's the most supportive, family and friends?
In my tenure as a father, absolutely. Absolutely. Close friends, the family who show up and pull up and help and send without you having to ask. And then a kind of bittersweet situation is a good daycare and or school system that your kids are in, man. Having that open line of communication and being able to be transparent and fluid when it comes to the development of your children. These are people who are taking care of your kid all day, every day. So
Okay,
being able to trust where they are, talk to them, they talk to you, and that makes parenting easier because when you're not with your kids, you don't know what's happening, and up to a certain age, they can't tell you. So that matters.
okay. Thank you, Terrence. Would anyone else agree with what Terrence has said? In your own personal experiences, what would you say? Family and friends. What's your take?
I would
on
like,
it?
sorry, I just joined, but I would like to add a support. I just recently had a baby and I went through a program called Birth Detroit for my prenatal care, and
Mhm.
they were especially supportive for my pregnancy
Okay,
and postpartum.
Lucretia, thank you.
Mhm. You're welcome.
Okay, Corey, you said 100% you agree on daycare and preschool. All right, thank you, Corey. I love that. Anyone else?
While they are thinking, for the new people in the room, can we get your name and email address in the chat, please?
Yes, thank
Record
you,
and
Terrence.
credit purposes.
Anyone else want to add to that? Alexis? Ashley? Legendary 460. Oh, that's, I'm sorry. Okay, got it. I thought you was adding something. Thank you, Corey. All right. No one else want to have anything they want to add in terms of family and friends or an agency? WIC? Someone mentioned Rick. Ariel, you mentioned WIC. Would you say that's the most supportive?
Yeah, I would include WIC as well, as long with the bridge card.
Okay. All right, well, let's go to the next question. Okay, so in this one, the last one we dealt with mothers. Now we're dealing with infants. So in what ways, what are ways that infants are supported in your community? And so the same question, but we're dealing with infants. who is doing the supporting and who is the most supportive? And remember, this is dealing with, the vitality in your community. What makes your community strong, vital, active, strong?
I would add pediatricians.
Okay, thank you, Alexis.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Anyone else? And Alexis, when you said pediatricians, in what way are you thinking? Is it a particular area?
Not necessarily, but when it comes to infant care, a pediatrician should essentially, I mean, in a perfect world, a pediatrician will be the ones who would catch things that are wrong to refer infants to additional resources in the community as needed.
So well said, Alexis. Thank you. Someone else. I like that. Go ahead, girl. Someone else. Remember, you can put your answer in the chat as well.
I don't know if is there a share of pregnancy down here, Detroit?
You said a share?
Share of pregnancy. So when I was working in Lansing, they had a share of pregnancy, and it was like a community house where I don't know the age limit, but pregnant moms with newborns could come in. They can get clothes, diaper bags, bus tokens. Then they got instruction, like lessons. That's how I know, because I was there doing lessons and presentations. And they had like a currency system, like an attendance system. So you showed up, you went to these lessons, you went to these presentations, and you might get extra bus tokens or extra diapers or extra wipes or something for showing up for your kids. So, and it was packed every time. I never had a small crowd in there. So
Wow.
whatever
And
the
that was
incentive
called,
system. Yeah, it was called shared pregnancy. And it was, they had like a little house, on a regular block, set
okay.
up business and the rooms, they had nursing rooms, everything. So it worked out.
Thank you, Terrence. That sounds excellent. If they don't have one here, that's a good idea. Okay, someone else?
Y'all start talking to me about ideas. When y'all do it, let me know.
Agencies that provide community baby showers, or like I know a mental health agency also that has like a community closet that donates clothing and baby supplies.
Oh, thank you, Lucretia.
This is Ashley. It's actually another place called Honey for Moms. They do like formula banks when there was the pandemic and stuff. You can get formula for free. They had like a pantry for that. They also do like mental health for moms, like up to like 1 year old with your child. Things like that as well. Is located in Ferndale. And then like even within the community, like Facebook and things like that, they had like a group called Detroit Area Formula Finds, where people was just giving resources to where to find formula, or actually just giving formula away for moms that couldn't find it.
Excellent. Thank you, Ashley. That's really good. Corey, did you say something?
We're doing dinner. You gotta say over there on the side. We're doing dinner. Back up.
I see Corey is talking, but I'm sorry, I still didn't understand or get that. Anyone else? These are some good answers. Anyone else? In what are ways that infants are supported in your community? Okay, well, let's go to the next question. Okay, so how have the strengths in your community changed over the past 3 years? So we know that we have been, we've had COVID. So how would you say it has changed for better or worse in the last 3 years? How have the strengths in your community changed over the past 3 years?
This is Ashley. I feel like it's changed because community has become more resourceful with helping one another. With whatever the pandemic brought, it made people become more closer. It helped basically bring the community together because we was all going through the same thing. So wherever you fell short, someone else picked up.
Excellent. Thank you, Ashley. Someone else. How have the strengths in your community changed over the last 3 years?
This is Ariel. I would say certain strengths or programs would have helped majority of the kids stay out of trouble, at least as far as summer programs and summer jobs and stuff like that.
Okay, summer programs, summer jobs. Okay, good. Thank you. Anyone else?
This is Charles again. I will
Mhm.
say that I do know the federal government has pumped like a lot of money into different states, and I know like the city of Detroit has different programs, and they have like a lot of money that they're trying to use for different different thing, not events, but different things. And I know that my coworker, she just signed up for this program where the city of Detroit is helping people get these low interest loans to do repairs on their homes. And they have a grant program as well. So it's kind of building some equity into the community. But I just know that there's a lot of COVID dollars that the city of Detroit still has that they haven't spent.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Charles. Good information. Someone else? Francis? Quinetta?
I'm here. I'm just trying to really think of something. I think for me, I'm in a unique situation because a lot of my resources or support come from just the daycares and the schools. Because I have one actually. Through my job, I work for Comcast, and they have right. It's a program called Bright Horizons.
Bright Horizons. Okay.
Yes, and they assist with backup care plans. So if last minute your kids school gets canceled, or it's a day that you don't normally work and you're forced to get called into work, you can opt in for last minute care, and you pay just $15, and the program will cover the rest of the cost for the day. And if they can't find a daycare, they will actually reimburse your account $100 for if you were able to find like someone to come to your house, like a personal care, in-house care. So that's something that actually has happened over the last 3 years. And I definitely lean in hard on that pretty often too, so.
Well, that is wonderful, Francis. You called it the backup care. And you said you work for Comcast, right?
Yes, I work for Comcast.
That's
So
okay.
that is, and Bright Horizons, they aren't exclusively with Comcast. So I would encourage anyone who works for like a corporate type job
Mhm.
to see if their jobs offer that resource or
Right,
that
Horizon.
benefit.
All
Bright
right.
Horizons, yes.
Yes, thank you, Francis. That is excellent information.
Which reminds me, and I don't know how many people this would apply to, but when I was finishing undergrad, because I was a student, I was able to get free childcare. So it was kind of one of those things where the school reserved a certain number of spots at a particular school. And as long as when you went to say, hey, I got a kid, they had space available, you were right there. So she reminded me that with her job and the thing. But then to what Ashley said earlier about everybody reacting to the pandemic, that's kind of my thought. I think the strengths have adapted and evolved because we're figuring out what life is now.
Mhm.
Half of us work from home, some days, every day, hybrid, whenever we want. Kids they cancel school for anything these days. So it helps that, hey, I could be home if the kid has to stay home. But then it's like, all right, after a couple of days, I need them to go back because I got to still work. So it's just kind of one of those things where we're looking for that happy medium between what was and what is and what we don't really know is still to come.
Thank you, Terrence. Anyone else? How have the strengths in your community changed over the past 3 years? And you all are giving excellent answers, great resources. This is your opportunity to tell the state how you feel.
I think with COVID, things have become more accessible for some people who may have had challenges before, especially with virtual care for mental health or other type of services for children. Like during COVID, my son had speech therapy through early on, but we were able to do it virtually. So some people who may not have access to transportation can do things through the virtual platform. And I know for a minute they were giving free internet, so that helped offset the cost for virtual care as well.
Thank you, Lucretia. Excellent. And also, Corey, what your you said we have been involved with a lot of free community celebrations, particularly recently since MLK Day. Okay. And BHM. What's BHM? I'm sorry.
Black History Month. BHM is Black History Month.
Oh, okay. All right. Parades, festivals, okay. Activity days, okay. All right, thank you. Thank you, Terrence. All right, anyone else? Great, great. Excellent. Okay, well, let's go to the next question. All right, so how have supporting programs in your community changed over the past 3 years? So, you've listed several programs. How have those programs changed? You mentioned WIC, the Bright Horizons. Was there any change you noticed in that organization since COVID?
I'll start.
Okay.
I think since it's been COVID, with a lot of supporting organizations or programs within the community, they've all kind of face some type of financial change, whether that is grant funds or private investors, because a lot of people are impacted by COVID, and that obviously impacted how organizations kind of stayed afloat financially to continue to support the populations that they serve, but as well as staffing. And I think that that's something that is still happening today, that it's very difficult to keep staff, especially at organizations that are nonprofit or require the community funds. It's hard to keep staff to kind of keep those organizations and programs going to support populations as well.
All
So
right.
both finances and staff.
All right, thank you, Alexis. Excellent, excellent. Anyone else?
I think what Lucretia mentioned about the she said her son had speech therapy. All of the telehealth options, the virtual, the call me.
Mhm.
I work for a program that was a home visiting program. And this has completely changed all of that. So everything is
Okay.
just, hey, if you got a cell phone, you good to go. Right? You
Good.
get somewhere where you got some
Excellent.
Wi-Fi, you good to go. However, I think that's a gift and a curse. So we yeah, there's that.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you, Terrence. Very good. Very good. You all are doing well. Anyone else? How have supporting I'm sorry, I'm stopping someone. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I just wanted to jump in since I heard you mention the thing about Bright Horizons. I can't speak to how much it has changed over time because honestly, I just found out about it
Okay.
in the last year. So yeah, that's the information that I have for it. If
Okay.
anybody wants like specific details about it as of now, I will be willing to chat with you about it for sure. Because
Okay.
it is kind of a process, but yeah. So nothing to contribute as far as it's changed.
Okay, thank you, Francis. So no change as far as Bright Horizons is concerned. Okay, good. That's a good thing. Okay, anyone else? How have supporting programs changed over the past 3 years? Mentioning the staff and finances. Excellent. Thank you. Things going virtually, telemedicine. Excellent, Terrence. Anyone else? Remember, you can put your answers in the chat as well. Okay, let's move on. It ends at 8, so we want to stay on schedule. So if you answer the questions right away, that's good. So what are opportunities to provide additional support for mothers in your community? So we've talked about some programs that are there for mothers and infant. What are opportunities to provide additional support for moms in your community?
I'll go again. This is Francis. I would say a big thing for me would just be where to find the resources. How is it being communicated to us? How will we be able to access the information? Because if you don't know what to look for, what you're looking for, and how are you going to find it? So more support in that aspect.
Thank you, Francis. Excellent. Where to
All right.
find the resources? Okay.
I will 100% piggyback that, because every time I tell somebody about the fatherhood program, there's the, oh, I didn't know we had this, or it's good that's here, etc. Which leads me to my answer for this question. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this curveball to y'all, but if we support the fathers, then that counts as additional support for the mothers, because there is likely, it's a little work for the mom to have one kid, let alone 2, 3, 4, or 5. So if y'all support them dads, the same way y'all support the moms get additional support. I don't know
Right.
who these answers are going to, but tell them I said it.
Okay. Thank you, Terrence, supporting the dads. Okay. Let's see, in the chat, we had an answer in the chat. Preston, additional opportunities offering to babysit when available, offer parental advice when solicited. Thank you, Preston. Very good. Anyone else? These are good. Come on. You all are doing great. Anyone else? Come on, this is your opportunity. What are opportunities to provide additional support for mothers? Moms, dads? What do you need?
You start asking them kind of questions, I'm gonna start putting some numbers in the air. Childcare costs this, school supplies cost this, school clothes cost this. Everything is going up, but these parents' income.
I used to be a part of I don't want to call it a program, but it was a group called Detroit Mama Hub in Detroit, and they provided like you could do a low cost membership, and it allowed moms to come in to do, dads were welcome to, but monthly activities with other parents, and they would provide childcare, prenatal and postnatal yoga, breastfeeding classes. They would do just different types of classes that you would get for the membership, and that really helped, like during my first pregnancy, pre and postnatal, for like baby blues, and having a community to be there for support, but they had to close during COVID. So something like that would be nice, because there are places that provide the yoga and different mom classes, but they're very expensive. So this place was accessible and it was low cost.
Okay, that's excellent. Does anyone else want to say anything? Lucretia, thank you. Excellent. Anyone else? Because we have several other questions, so I want to keep moving.
This is Ashley. I feel like now we're in an era where everything is so therapeutic. A lot of people lean on therapy, and I feel like therapy for like women is, especially because if you're a single mom or something like that, to have that outreach and to be able to talk to somebody of what you're going through, so you won't feel like you're going through it alone, or to actually talk your problems out or say something to someone. I feel like that's a big outreach. My job actually has something where, they actually give you free sessions throughout the week, and 5 free sessions for your family and immediate family to go and talk a therapy session. And I feel like it's very helpful.
Oh, thank you, Ashley. That is excellent. Having free therapy. Excellent. Anyone else? All right, we're going to move on because we have several other questions. Okay, so what relationships between people or organizations? Let's see, Francis, you put something in. Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. Okay, what relationships between people or organizations could be strengthened to provide additional support for moms? So what relationships do you know of? Terrence had mentioned family. So how can these be strengthened and with organizations to help provide additional support?
I think a lot of these organizations decide what they want to help with and how they want to help. And then when you apply for grants, there's so many rules and parameters on how you can help and how you can support. And I think that is kind of counterproductive because, you know, as so many people on this call know, parenting is such a fluid process. So when your child is 1, your life is one way. By the time your child is 2, your life is not the same. And you've been attached to these programs who are only designed to help you one way or do one thing where they're not allowed to do or they can't do. I mean, even Healthy Start, technically you age out of the program once that baby hits 18 months. Does that mean you all of a sudden don't need help anymore? So it's just, we need to find a way to meet parents where they are on a continuum and not just meet them where they are, set some goals, try to reach the goals, and then they age out. But I know that that's a higher level of policy. But as a person who has had children and also worked in this field, been in a lot of these meetings, it gets frustrating because there's a group of people here who want to serve a group of people there, but they don't have any experience with that group of people. They've never lived with that group of people. Quite frankly, sometimes they aren't that group of people. And they decide, hey, let's just make them check these boxes. If they don't check them all, they don't get our help or they don't get our money. When in reality, they don't always know, or we don't always know what we need, what we're gonna need, how long we're gonna need it. We just know right now, this is how our life is set up.
Okay. Thank you, Terrence. Very good. Someone else. Okay, this is an opportunity to share your experiences as parents, friends of parents.
I would say, so in order to, I'm sorry, I'm getting feedback on my headphones, but in order to strengthen relationships, it's just a matter of being more open, being ready to be vulnerable, especially with your partner, because in some instances, like I can speak from personal experiences, like we all we got. Like I said, we really rely on like daycare and childcare and things like that, because our family is, you know, in different parts of the country. So the relationship that you have with your partner is going to be the most critical relationship that you can have, because y'all are the ones that are the main people in your children's life. And if y'all aren't able to be open, honest, and vulnerable with one another about the things that you need and the things that, you know, the strengths, the weaknesses, and everything, then it's going to be hard to survive.
Okay. Thank you, Corey. Appreciate that. Anyone else? What relationships between people or organizations could be strengthened to provide additional support? Anyone else? Again, you can put your answers in the chat as well. Okay, well, let's move on. Let's go to the next one. Again, how can your community provide more support to mothers? I know you all have given some great information, answers. And Corey, that was really good, talking about relationships between partners. Having more Black doctors and healthcare personnel. All right, thank you.
Oh, wait, let me add to that. Let me add
That's
to that. 'Cause
Preston. Thank you, Preston.
that's
Sorry,
extremely
Terrence.
important. That's extremely important. I think another sub point to that is showing and telling Black people where those Black doctors and healthcare personnel are.
Okay.
Understanding and making sure they understand how insurance networks work. Because you can want all day long, but you definitely have to make sure that our target demo understands how that works, because most of our demographic is dealing with government insurance, and we know that only stretches so far. So just make sure that if we want to refer these people to Black professionals that they understand if and how they can get them and get serviced by them until,
Okay.
again, those policies change.
Thank you, Terrence. And Preston, I see that you said you saw that that there was a hospital that was doing away with doula. Yes, I believe it was Ascension, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And I hear that there's going to be a protest walk on behalf. And you could also sign a petition. Thank you for bringing that up, Preston. Someone else, how can your community provide more support to mamas? Anyone else?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell y'all this only because I just started doing it. And of course, this is at the discretion of your children's school. But get as involved in their schools as you can, schedule-wise. There's a lot of kids in these schools who have dysfunctional homes. And they need the presence of, for sure, men and fathers, but for sure, just some adults who got their head on straight for a few hours and can talk to them and hear them and understand them without the pressures and stress of everything else. So however you can, however your schedule allows, however the school allows, get involved, man. I know research shows, the more involved we are in school, the better our kids are, the more involved both parents are, the better off our kids progress through school. But even the teachers and professionals, when they see that emergency card and they know daddy's name on there, they automatically looking at the kid a certain way. So we got to figure out a way to compensate for that on our own before we put all that pressure on the education professionals.
Excellent. Thank you, Terrence. Okay, let's go to the next question. Okay, so now the question is, how can healthcare providers, clinics, and hospitals provide more support to mothers? So healthcare providers, clinics. Now, I know that was a good answer regarding the Ascension doing away with midwifery. So that would be one of the answers there. I mean, to provide that to the community. So anything else? What else? How can healthcare providers, clinics, and hospitals provide more support to mothers?
This is Ariel. I would say that they can provide, like, the clinic that I go to, I was introduced to this program, and I could say this is the first time like people actually walk around and try to help you get into programs and stuff. Out of all the, doctor's offices or, providers or whatever I've ever been to, they can start doing more things like this.
Thank you, Ariel. Excellent. I love that. Okay, Charles, you said listen to their concerns instead of shrugging. Okay. All right, shrugging them off. Okay, you hear that happens to Black women a lot. Thank you, Charles. Okay, okay, mothers, he said he hears this. Charles has heard this. So this is your opportunity to talk, mothers. What do you need? Quinetta?
This is Ashley. I feel like as healthcare professionals, I feel like instead of basing everything off of every woman or every child in the world, they should base it off like your ethnic group, things of that nature, because every child isn't the same, every mother isn't the same, on the basis of that, of how they should go about their care and things like that. I've had this happen to me when I was pregnant with my son. So me having my sister there and people from WIC and things like that, that helped me a lot with making decisions about that type of situation.
All right, thank you, Ashley. And Quinetta, you mentioned in the chat that this is your first child. Okay.
I do want to shameless plug the clinic that Ariel was talking about, Detroit Community Health Connections.
Okay.
That is where we're embedded in two of their locations, one on Kirchhoff, one on Jefferson, where we do our best to get parents exposed to our services. So that's what she was talking about. But I will say that clinic they got a family atmosphere over there.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Terrence. Thank you, Ashley. I mean, Ariel said that. Thank you. Anyone else?
It would be great if hospitals would start sending bills to not just the mom, send it to the parents.
You said send the bill, say that again. It would be great if they would send the bill not to just the mom.
Yes, but to both parents. Like for me, when I had my kids, both times I got all the bills in my name, and I feel like it almost neglects that the father is involved, and kind of puts a lot of pressure on the mom to reach out, not necessarily reach out, but communicate with the dad, hey, this is what we have to pay, this is what we have to do, instead of the hospital being including everything as a joint partnership or what have you. Also, just even being in the hospital or during prenatal, there was a lot of reaching out to just moms about things that need to be taken care of, classes that need to be taken, and dads need to be involved too. It shouldn't be up to us only to get the dads involved, because a lot of times people need to hear from someone else other than just their partners for them to be encouraged to do something.
Excellent answer. Thank you, Francis. That's what we want. We want to hear from you, what you need. Excellent. All right, let's go to the next question.
Oh, wait. I want to just to respond to that real quick. While I wholeheartedly understand for sure, because for whatever reason, one of my kids' doctor bills coming in my name. But I do think that's an insurance thing. I don't think that's something that the hospitals or the doctor's offices can necessarily change because of how we have to bill insurances. And I don't think there's always one policy holder on an insurance thing and then like a spouse or whatever, but I don't think that we can bill two people based on how the insurance is billed or who holds the policy. But with that being said, it's a conversation that's been had in more rooms than one about the presence of fathers throughout the prenatal process and the pressure that puts on the professionals to include the dad in conversation, right? So an example is for our first child, I think I might have missed one prenatal appointment, maybe two, like one of the little quick 30-minute ones. And Alexis, then she came home, she said, hey, doctor, whatever his name was, asked where you were, told me to say hi and he missed you. And it was like, okay, cool. Like, because I'm there, and when I'm there, I talk and I engage and I ask questions and I answer questions and I bring my own feedback to the situation, my presence is there. So when I couldn't make an appointment, me not being there was felt and noticed, right? So by the time we had our third kid, we had a different OB, but she made sure I had my scrubs. She brought me donuts and coffee that morning because we had a scheduled C-section. And it was just from the simple fact that throughout the entire process, I made sure I was there, right? So it's a twofold thing. The mom and dad have to encourage each other, because it's not always a pretty situation with mom and dad. We know this. And I don't like to put all the pressure on the mom, because dad has to want to be there. But this is what I mean when I say, like, the doctors have to put that pressure on moms. The moms got to put that pressure on dad, but then also dad's got to circle back and put that pressure on the doctor. So it's got to be a little triangle of relationship saying, hey, I'm here. So when I'm here, you talk as if both of us are here, whether we married or not. She just told you I'm the dad, so act like I'm the dad of this child, right? And so many times, because you're not married, or they see the piece of paper and the last names don't match, there's no rings, they start to try to play it safe. They don't want to assume it. Dude, it's 6 a.m. We're not cousins. I'm not her brother. I'm not her daddy. And I'm here at this doctor with her. This is my child, right? So there's a lot of levels to it. And Fran and whoever else might be experiencing this or has experienced this, my suggestion is to continue to push your partner at your discretion, because you know your partner better than any of us. But also, when you respond in these medical rooms, say, hey, let me talk to my partner, let me talk to my husband, let me talk to my kid's father, and I'll get back to you. Because a lot of times, to what Charles's point is, they'll pressure moms to answer questions in that moment. They'll speak all the jargon, they'll talk circles around you so you can answer and they can move on to their next room. So you have to, as they say, advocate for yourself. You have to be okay with saying, I'll get back to you with that. Dad sometimes will pressure be to provide an emotional support, so understanding that dad's part in the pregnancy. Oh, 1,000%, 1,000%, 1,000%.
Okay.
If I could go back and do pregnancy over, I would, which is why I choose now to try to give the game that I didn't have. But absolutely. But yeah, there's that. Just keep that in mind, that kind of triangle of relationship between the medical professionals and dad, because everybody got to pressure each other, to pressure the next person, to pressure each other to get this together.
Okay. Thank you, Terrence. And Corey, thank you for what you put in the chat, that dads sometimes feel pressure to be the provider and emotional support. So understanding a dad's part in the pregnancy and birthing process may not always be clear to them. Excellent. And I think too, what Terrence was saying, there is a father support group that is provided and can help, because absolutely they probably don't understand. And that is a resource right there. So thank you very much. Thank you, Terrence. All right. Does anyone else want to say anything before we move to the next question? Okay, let's go to the next question. Thank you, Alan. How can the local health department provide more support to mothers? So how can your local health department provide more support? This is really important too, so that they can know what they can do. What resources do they need to provide? To provide more support. Do you know where your local health department is located?
For the record, we got rid of ours, didn't we? Oh, we got rid of it and came back. Wayne County?
No, I'll say I don't know.
Yeah.
Detroit Health Department, I was thinking of that one.
Ours dissolved because that's where IPH was first. But it might have came back and it just didn't bring back WIC and I think, yeah, something like that. But yeah.
There is a Wayne County Health Department and Detroit Health Department. I mean, there's supposed to be a health department in all counties.
Right. And I'll to Francis' point, she said she don't know what hers is. There's also a lot of things that happen in those buildings. So sometimes those buildings build a reputation as one thing. So the health department building that I worked in Ingham County was also Bridge Card office.
Okay.
So people knew it for that. So when I told people where I worked, they thought I was CPS or Bridge Card government assistance worker. So some people might know where it is because of something else, but they don't know that that's what else is there.
Okay. So you're saying, Terrence, the health departments need to make themselves,
Yeah, they're ugly buildings. They're ugly buildings and they don't attract people to do anything unless you know you're going to get help from a specific office at a specific time for an appointment. But you're
Mhm.
never just driving down the street and say, hey, that looks like a nice health department. Let me go see how they can help me today.
Okay,
There's never that. There's never a draw in to every health department I've been in. It just feels so like nobody wants to be there. And then people going back is nuts. It's like the Social Security office, Secretary of State is like the worst buildings to be in because you never want to be there.
okay. Does anyone else want, thank you, Terrence. Does anyone else want to say anything about the, your local health department? No comments? Okay, well, let's go to the next question. Well, how can the state provide more support to mothers? How can the state provide more support? So Corey agreed that the buildings make you feel like a daunting task, not welcoming. All right, thank you, Corey. How can the state provide more support? What do you need from the state?
I guess more of a statement than anything. It seems like a lot of the questions are directed at mothers, but should we be considering this as more of a parental thing, like on both sides? Or I guess that's a
Okay.
question.
Okay. That's, you want to make that statement? Okay.
I meant to, I should have said that's more of a question, not a statement, not an
Oh.
answer, but more of a question.
Okay,
Because if that is the case, then I would say more support could come with not having so many limitations on like childcare financial support. And I
mhm,
know, like, for example, I have tried to several times for getting financial support with childcare, and they don't take into consideration your expenses. They only take your income, and it's not even your post-tax income or your post-expenses income. It's only your pre-tax income. So I feel like that makes it seem like you're a lot more well off than what your situation could potentially be. And I think that maybe that's an outdated or just an unfair process that they have that needs to be revisited.
okay, thank you, Francis, very good. And then Alexis said more funding to organizations that actually support mothers, especially targeted for Black mothers. Okay, thank you, Alexis. Yes, okay, the algorithm and calculations aren't really fair. Okay, thank you, Terrence, for that. Anyone else? How can the state provide more support to mothers?
I feel like this is Ashley. I feel like although you're looking at the state for like financial assistance, I feel like once you talk to someone, they can be more empathetic with you because they're not like the friendliest people to talk to. Although, you know, you already stepping out of your comfort zone to talk to someone about something that you need from them, they really kind of don't care.
Okay. All right, thank you, Ashley. So more friendliness, welcoming attitude, okay. Anyone else? Okay, we're getting close to the end, so let's go to the next question. We actually have 10 more minutes. How can our organization provide more support to mothers?
For clarity, and you mean the SimQuick?
No, I'm thinking we're talking about. Kyra, what do you think?
You know what? No, I was say let's speak to our organization. So how do you feel like SimQuick in a way could provide more support? Or I'll even open it up to Institute of Population Health as well. So maybe we might garner some information we don't know. And maybe who knows that maybe some responses for how we can support you more, maybe we may get more funding to support you more. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, good.
So yeah,
So-
with that being said, I'll just what IPH does, we do at a dentist office, we have a WIC office, we do one-to-one coordination with moms in our MIHP, we do one-to-one care coordination with the dads, which is myself. Got 2 clinics in the city, flu shots, COVID vaccines, regular checkups, PCPs, babies, all of that. Just so you can kind of think about the kind of place that you are imagining when we ask, what can our organization do? Or how can we provide more support for moms? And then I just want to make sure that everybody understood what your organization was as well before they think about those answers.
And so what we didn't start out by saying is that SimQuick Southeast Michigan Southeast Michigan Perinatal Quality Coalition really is here to enhance vitality of women, of birthing women. I shouldn't say that. I'm trying to think how our wording is, but nonetheless, us here at SimQuick, our goal is really to decrease our
Improving
infant mortality
outcomes.
rates. Yep.
Kyra,
thank you.
improving outcomes for mothers
And-
and babies. That's what really, this is what we're all about, SimQuick, is to
So,
improve.
yes, thank you. To
Policy
improve our
applied.
outcomes. I was trying to go back to our actual mission. We just recently changed it. Well, updated it, should I say. But our real goal is to really improve outcomes in our community, specifically in Oakland, Macomb, and Wayne counties.
Mhm.
But if you don't have any additional thoughts, we can move on to the next question, Andrea.
Yeah, okay. All right, let's go to the next question. What are opportunities to provide additional support for infants in your community? Any other thing that's come to your mind that wasn't mentioned earlier? Can you think of anything else? Opportunities to provide additional support?
How do we separate support from mothers and support from infants? What's the difference? Because a lot of these organizations and programs lump mom and baby together, right? Because obviously the baby can't come on their own. And the only reason you need a car seat, mom, is because you have a baby, right? So how do we separate in these kind of conversations? How do you distinguish the difference between supporting moms of babies and elementary age children and supporting infants?
I would
Or
say,
is there a difference?
there are certain things moms need, certain things infants need. But you're right, you are supporting both moms and infants.
Well, no, I'm asking really.
I'm about to say, or really, Terrence, maybe that is your response. How
Yeah,
can we
okay.
separate the two? Maybe
Right.
that really is the response to the question. It's no right or wrong. So if you're saying there's no way I can separate because I need to support the infants, but I need to support mom to support the infants, but I need to make sure the infants are good, so mom is good.
And it is,
So,
and I don't even want to
is with-
separate them really though. I really want to just
Yeah.
add that last factor of dad, because once you can start to sprinkle support throughout the entire family structure, there's less pressure on any one individual within that dynamic to try to go get the support for the rest of the family, right? If dad has a job versus no job, there's income. If there are groceries in the house, then okay, now we can eat. If baby has clothes, all right, we don't have to worry about that until the growth spurt hits, right? If dad is unemployed or mom's bridge card gets cut off because we know that happens randomly and unexpectedly, or all of a sudden the baby hits a growth spurt that nobody was expecting and the seasons are changing, we have to figure out how to support everybody simultaneously so that the pressures of all of the life that our target demo experiences aren't crashing down at one time. And it never dawned on me to ask for a separation of those things because it's all just been mom and baby, mother, infant, all of those things, right? Women and infant, all of that stuff is mom, baby. Everything is mom, baby. So you always just have those two together in the pack.
Okay.
But I think the conversation should change and say, it's got to be more focused on the family dynamic, because if not, and we're only pinpointing certain things to the point of a comment in the chat, somebody's going to feel left out and unwanted and unnecessary in certain rooms and in certain conversations.
Okay.
Right. So if we walk into an appointment and nurse or doctor say, hey, how's mom and baby? The dad is sitting right there. Right. That people internalize those things, whether they know it or not. And it starts to project onto the mom. And then that projects through the pregnancy or onto the other children in the home. Right. So it's not safe and it's not healthy. It's not fair that kids have to deal with our adult stresses and pressures because we're so busy trying to find a program for mom, program for baby, a program for dad, program for my 8-year-old, a program for my 13-year-old. Why? Everybody lives in one house.
Mm-hmm.
So our program, and that's a policy thing. So I'm gonna let Frances have her hand up, but for us people at this table and at this level, that's the conversation we have to start having in these other rooms.
Okay. Thank you, Terrence. It's excellent. Well said. Francis, you want to add something?
Yes, Terrence, you just got deep. I'm gonna try to follow that. But I think something that's really important is we have to stop assuming that moms are strong, strong all the time, that moms just got this. We have to stop making such an assumption. And I think that I can kind of say that ties in with what Terrence was saying as far as like, are we able to separate them? And the question should be yes in some instances, because you don't know how an infant can be suffering based on what the mother is going through, because people are assuming that she's okay and she's not. So the infant, the baby has to be checked on too, not just the mom, but the baby. And that can be by way of, other people around the father or, older siblings if they're of adult age or, whoever else, but everything can't just fall on the mom and you can't expect all the answers from the mom, because if the mom is suffering, she might not be ready to express herself in that way, or she might not even be in a headspace to understand what she's going through. And that doesn't help the infant. So somehow we have to be able to find another way to access the voice of that infant.
Thank you, Francis. Very good. All right, we are now down to 7:59. And of course, this ends at 8 o'clock. So, and now all the questions are regarding the same questions regarding infants. So are there any last comments that anyone wants to make? You didn't get a chance and you have to get this on record. Remember, we're taping your responses. You all have done a wonderful job. Is anyone else? We need to also make sure you have your name and email in the chat. So if you have not done that, please put that in the chat. So does anyone else have any last minute thing you want to say or add?
Yeah, if you are not an employee of IPH or SimQuick and your name is not in the chat, I cannot guarantee that you will receive your incentive for being here tonight. That's all. But who do we talk to when we know mom isn't okay?
So Corey, you're saying, well, who do you talk to? Mom isn't okay. The police doesn't feel like a plausible option, all things considered.
So what I'll suggest and what I encourage is to, if you got one friend who is living the same life you're living, that's a good place to start. I got friends that are married with no kids, so I talk to them about marriage things. I got friends with kids who aren't married, so I talk to them about parenting things. I got friends who are both, so we have that conversation about marriage and parenting, depending on what the conversation is that day. But one of the better things for me have been just talking to people who have always been my homies. But as we've progressed through life, our conversations have changed. So best to find somebody who is as close to being in your shoes as possible and give a little bit at a time and just kind of see if you get stuff back that helps, give a little bit more. If not, you kind of start to look elsewhere. But a peer group, a support group, it don't have to be nothing professional, nothing formal, nothing official. But a tight-knit group of people who know your lifestyle and respect your lifestyle, that's a good place to start. It was for me.
Excellent. Thank you, Terrence. Excellent answer. All right, this ends our session for this evening. I really appreciate all of your answers.
I'm sorry, did we get a chance to acknowledge Frances?
Yeah. She just never put her hand
Yeah,
down.
I just put my hand down.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. We appreciate all your comments. Again, we need to make sure everyone, you have put your name and email address in the chat so that you can receive your gift card. We will make connection with Terrence to make sure you get your gift card. Thank you so much for coming on this evening and sharing. Hi. We really appreciate each and every one of you. And this ends our session. So I want to say good night. Everyone have a good evening.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
In this jumpsuit. What a great meeting.
It was. Excellent meeting. Francis said, excellent session. Thanks, Francis.
Ariel trying to stay and get all the behind the scenes and those.
Oh,
Well,
I can leave.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Sorry. See you guys later.
Take
Okay.
care of yourself.
Bye.
She says, I can leave. All right.
You want to make sure she won't miss nothing else. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. My kids just got put to bed, so I gotta go
Okay.
to my house.
Terrence, thank you so much. You really add to the conversation.
Really.
I mean, you
problem.
do. You just
No.
really make it good. I'm serious. I'm
These
like, I
are,
think we need to get you on each one.
these are,
are
I
good.
mean, they're real things, man. They're real things. And I'm grateful to be in a position where I can speak for a lot of people that I've served, a lot of people that I've talked to. Whether I served them for a long time or just had a conversation in passing somewhere, but I can't, it would be remiss if I got into these settings and didn't speak up for those people who voices muffled,
Mhm.
right, for various reasons. So that's all it really is. When I have my own experiences, my own wife and kids in life, but I can count my blessings. So
Well, you keep it moving, you keep it lively, and
Yeah.
I really appreciate you. So,
no problem. No
coming
problem.
from your experience, and thank you so much for partnering with us. Oh, I see Ellen's better half behind her.
Yeah. I mean, and if
That's
y'all
my
ever
husband,
if y'all ever want me to come to different groups,
Mhm.
if I know enough time and my schedule allows it, I'll definitely come in.
That would be
Informal, kick it with people, man. So just however y'all want to make it happen.
okay. That sounds excellent, Terrence. I appreciate that. All right, you have a good evening.
You too. I'll talk to you soon.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.